caregivers who haven't had PSWs or nurses in the home during the pandemic, if that was something that they routinely had in the past, at some point that is going to resume as normal. But the fear might be there of having people coming back into the home who haven't been in the home for a while. For the caregiver, what advice do you have for them about how they can approach or discuss their fears with these healthcare practitioners so that they can just feel okay with having them back in the home?
Mm-hmm. I think first and foremost that we call them difficult conversations, because you might feel a little bit awkward, like questioning the professional on their own professionalism. Did you wash your hands? Have you been somewhere that was with someone who's COVID positive? Have you, like, what are my risks here with you coming back in the home? You have a right to question. It's more than appropriate. Any healthcare provider should be considered more than normal and appropriate for you to have to answer these questions. So a couple of things. You can talk to an agency. If that's where your service providers are coming from, you can ask supervisors, managers, frontline staff, okay, so what are you guys doing? A lot of people, PSWs for instance, were not permitted, and nurses actually, were not permitted to work in a COVID positive long-term care facility and still do home visits. So they were asked to stop that practice to minimize the spread. And so, you can ask about what the company's policy was and how did they manage it and where do they sit now? So could I potentially be receiving a PSW that's been in a long-term care facility that's had COVID? And if I'm not comfortable with that, what is your contingency for that? Can I request to have someone else? And the other thing is when you have the person actually present at the door, you can welcome them and say, hey, this is what we've been doing since COVID. Here's my process at home. So, here's your drop zone if that's dirty. Here's the hand, you're coming into, can you just do the quick little alcohol scrub and whatever on your hands, drop your dirty stuff there, and then we're okay. And then if you have other questions about, where they've been and what their practices are, it's a very direct question. It's how have you been doing? How have you been coping? How have you been maintaining clean hands? And a lot of people like to share their stories anyways and what they've been doing and where they've been since this COVID pandemic. And so I think that introducing people to your processes, questioning kind of, because then you don't have to have a conflict with someone. If you're asking the company what their policies are and then making that request ahead of time, then you can feel a little bit more comfortable. And then feeling that empowerment to ask somebody a question and to actually say, okay, well, so, I'd feel better if you'd wash your hands before you do that. And that is well within a client's right. So there should be professionally, there should be no objection to that whatsoever. There should be no, I washed out there, I don't need to do it. No, there shouldn't be any of that. So definitely that would be, well, you're making me feel uncomfortable. If you mind, can you just wash your hands again? And that seems like a little bit of conflict potentially. I can't say that 100% everybody will be just so, easy to deal with. But you've had that experience in the before anyways. You've had like your favorite PSWs and your favorite nurses and your favorite physio aides and your favorite, versus the others that are just like, oh, not my favorite and I don't like to spend time with them type of thing. So it's kind of a similar situation, but definitely feel empowered to ask those questions.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to take our quick survey to give us your feedback. Find the link in the video description below.